are now going to take a look at the Theme Customizer API. The Theme Customizer is WordPress's UI for customizing the theme. This is enabled by default for you already. You can view this customizer by going into the admin dashboard and navigating to Appearance Customize. On the sidebar, you'll find a few options for changing the theme, and you'll see our theme being displayed on the right. Let's see how it works. Click on Site Identity and try changing the site title. Right after making these modifications, WordPress will actually update the preview. What WordPress is doing is loading the site in an iframe. Every time a change happens, then WordPress will refresh the iframe with the modified data. Keep in mind that this doesn't take an official effect until you click Save. What makes this customizer even more powerful is that developers are provided an API to add our own options and settings. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make one setting, and that setting will allow users to change the color of the theme. This is actually easier than it seems. Open up the Functions file and add an action hook. The action we want to hook into is called Customize_Register. This is the hook WordPress calls when it starts to set up the theme customizer. The function to call will be ju_customize_register. Create a file called theme-customizer.php inside the includes folder and define our function here. Lastly, include this file from the functions file. This hook will pass in one variable named wp_customize. This is an object with methods and properties for modifying the theme customizer. Let's use this object now by calling a method called add_setting. This method will create a single setting for the theme customizer. There are two parameters we need to set. The first parameter is the ID of this field. This field will modify the color of the header, so I will set this to header_bg_color. The second parameter is an array of additional settings we can set. There are only two settings we want to set. The first is the default value, which will be #4285F4. This is basically the default color of our original theme. The second setting we'll set is called Transport. The value will be Refresh. The Transport setting basically tells WordPress how we want to get the value inputted to display in the preview. By default, WordPress will use something called Refresh. It'll refresh the preview with new value. This will be fine for our purposes. We now have to create a section. This time, we'll be calling a method called add_section. This will add the section in the theme customizer, which will contain the input fields. The first parameter is the ID of the section. Set this to ju_color_theme_section. The second parameter is an array of settings we can set. The first setting to set is called Title. I'm also going to make this translatable using the double_ function. The next setting will be Priority. This will determine where this section will be displayed. The lower the number, the higher the placement it will receive, and vice versa. I'm going to set this 30. There's one last method I want to call, which is the add_control method. This will create an input field and add it to a particular section of your choosing. This has one parameter, which is the kind of input field we'd like to create. I'm going to create an instance of the wp_customize_color_control. This class will create a color input field and will actually do most of the heavy workload for us. This takes in a few parameters. The first is the object wp_customize. As strange as it sounds, it requires this object to create the input field for us. The second parameter is the ID of this control. I'm going to set this to theme_colors. The third parameter is an array of additional settings we have to set. The first is the label of this input field. I'm going to set this to header color, which will also be translatable. Next, we have to tell it which section this control will be added to. In our case, it would be JU_color_theme_section. Lastly, we have to tell this control what setting will be connected to it. This would be the ID of the setting, which is header_BG_color. That's it. Save your changes and refresh the page customizer. You will now find a section called Colors, which will contain this color picker that we can drag around. Every time we drag it around, the page will refresh. However, no changes are made. We'll be fixing this in just a moment. Let's review what we did in our Customize function. A lot of people get confused with the difference between add_setting and add_control. The setting will create the database value. This method will not create an input field. It will just tell WordPress about this setting and tell it to create a setting in the database. The control method will not create a database value. Instead, it will create an input field. The control will take care of modifying and updating the database value whenever the input field is updated. Alright, now that we've cleared that up, let's start making our theme recognize the changes. In the functions file, add an action hook called WP_head. The function to call is JU_head. Inside the includes/front folder, create a file named head.php and define our function here. Make sure to include it from the functions file. This hook will allow us to echo out info into the head tags of our theme. I'm going to paste in some styles. What I'm selecting here are the navbar and card classes that will change the background color. I want to grab the color from the theme customizer. To do this, we use a function called get_theme_mod. This function has two parameters, which is the ID of the setting. The ID would be header_BG_color. The second parameter is the default value just in case this setting does not exist. Set this to #4285F4. Make sure you echo out this value. That's it. Let's refresh the theme customizer and try changing the theme color. I'm going to change this to a dark color. After dragging around the value, WordPress will automatically refresh the iframe and you will now see our theme change colors. Keep in mind that these changes will not be official until you click Save. Save your settings and try visiting the front end of the site. Our theme just got more flexible. We're now finished with the theme customizer. Even though the theme customizer made this whole process easy, it isn't as flexible as creating your own interface. My personal site, jaskokoyn.com, is powered by WordPress. I have a premium theme installed called Sahifa, which has thousands of sales and is currently a top-selling theme. If I go to the theme customizer, you'll notice that there are absolutely no settings that Sahifa adds. Instead, the developer decided to create a page dedicated to modifying this theme's settings. This is how we previously did it in our own theme. So, why not use the Theme Customizer API? While it is very simple, the trade-off is that it isn't as flexible. By creating our own settings page, we had full control over how settings are set and modified. In the end, it's completely up to you how you create theme settings. We could have, if we wanted to, created this color option in the theme settings page. The only reason we didn't is because I wanted to show you the theme customizer and how to work with it. I want you to be aware of all the options available to you. Not only that, you will also find themes that use the Theme Customizer over a Custom Settings page.